Dick York, the popular American actor, had a tough childhood. He was born during the Great Depression to a family that had little money for the necessities. In an interview, he opened up about the adversity he had to face all his life. "We were so poor," he said, "that we couldn't afford to bury my brother when he died. It was a tough time for us." The family was devastated by the loss of their loved one, and they couldn't even give him a proper burial. Dick's parents were heartbroken, but they couldn't do anything about it due to their financial struggles. As a result, the family had to come up with a plan. They decided to bury Dick's brother in a cemetery, but they couldn't afford a burial plot, so they resorted to stealing into a cemetery at night to lay him to rest. It was a difficult task for the family, but they managed to do it. They knew it was not the right thing to do, but they had no other options. It was a traumatic experience for everyone involved, and it left a deep scar on Dick's mind. Richard Allen York, who later became known as Dick York, was born in Fort Wayne, Indiana on September 4, 1928. His mother, Betty, was a seamstress, and his father, Bernard, was a salesman. The family eventually moved to Chicago, where Dick's talent was noticed for the first time. A Catholic nun at St. Mary of the Lake Grammar School saw his vocal abilities and encouraged him to pursue his passion. At the age of 9, Dick became a part of the Jack and Jill Players and made his debut as a fish in the play Water Babies. After graduating from DePaul Academy, Dick decided to study drama at DePaul University. By that point, he had already been working in radio, taking on small roles. In 1944, Dick York got his first big break when he was cast in a series called That Brewster Boy. He was thrilled to be part of the show and remained with it until it ended 2 years later. Shortly after, Dick was offered the part of Billy Fairfield on The Jack Armstrong Show. He accepted the role and stayed with the show for several years. During his time on The Jack Armstrong Show, Dick also did commercials for daytime serials, starred in 5 days a week and weekly dramatic shows, and became the MC of the Saturday morning American Broadcasting Company network show for teenagers, Junior Junction. On top of all that, he also made several films for the Navy and appeared in a film distributed to high schools called Shy Guy. He was a busy actor with a lot on his plate, but he loved every minute of it. Dick York met Joan Alt, a young actress, while working on The Jack Armstrong Show. The two began dating during high school, and their relationship continued to grow even after the show ended its run. They talked about getting married, but when Dick found it difficult to find work, he decided to move to New York to pursue his acting career. Joan, who he affectionately called Joey, planned to join him in New York after he found a job. However, they decided that they had waited long enough and got married on November 17, 1951. Dick's time in New York began with him living in a young men's Christian association while he made the rounds to find work. It wasn't easy, but he persevered. Finally, in 1953, his hard work paid off, and he landed a role as a performer on numerous daytime radio dramas such as This Is Nora Drake and Rosemary. Dick York was a prolific actor, and in the 1950s he starred in several Broadway productions that were very successful. He appeared in Tea and Sympathy from 1953 to 1955, followed by Bus Stop from 1955 to 1956, and Night of the Ulk in 1956. During the production of Bus Stop, the New York Daily News wrote a profile on him, remarking how he looked much younger than his actual age of 27. He was already a father of 2 girls, Kim, who was 2.5 years old, and Amanda, who was 13 months old at the time. "We've another on the way," he said. "That air out in Kew Gardens is fine for raising kids." In 1954, Dick left Tea and Sympathy and traveled to Hollywood to work on the film My Sister Eileen. His talent was soon recognized, and he quickly found work on live and anthology television series such as Alfred Hitchcock Presents, Playhouse 90, and The Twilight Zone. He appeared in 4 episodes of Playhouse 90 and 2 episodes of The Twilight Zone. He made guest appearances on popular series such as The Untouchables, Dr. Kildare, and Rawhide, where he starred in 2 episodes with Clint Eastwood. Additionally, he appeared in 3 episodes of Wagon Train and Route 66, as well as The Virginian. His acting skills were widely recognized and appreciated by audiences and critics alike. In 1962, Dick York starred alongside Gene Kelly in the television series Going My Way, based on the 1944 Bing Crosby film. However, during production, he began to realize the severity of his back injury. As he told Film Facts magazine, "My back flared up about 25 shows into the Going My Way season. Despite trying shots and therapy, his back didn't seem to improve, and operations were recommended, ranging from fusion to the removal of several vertebrae. The situation seemed dire, but when Dick reported back to work after seeing the doctor, he found that all the sets had ramps built on them and places for him to ease himself into position. Gene Kelly, not only the star of the series but also the producer, had arranged everything to make sure Dick could still perform without any issues. Dick was touched by the gesture and remarked, "Never a word was spoken." In the fall of 1964, the television series Bewitched premiered on ABC, featuring Elizabeth Montgomery as Samantha Stephens, a witch who is married to human advertising executive Darrin Stephens. Dick York played the role of Darrin for the first 5 seasons, while Dick Sargent took over for seasons 6 through 8. The show's humor centered around the mixed marriage and the eccentric relatives of Samantha, including her mother Andorra and prankster Uncle Arthur. Despite becoming a massive hit, it was unexpected due to York's history of serious back injuries. He suffered the injury on the set of They Came to Cordura, which made it difficult for him to stand for long periods. The production team tried to accommodate his pain by building a slanted wall backstage for him to lean on between takes. However, midway through the 3rd season, his injuries worsened, and it became clear that he needed to leave the show. It was during the 5th season of Bewitched when Dick York's health began to decline. He was shown scenes where his character Darrin was lying down or in bed to accommodate his back pain. However, York's condition worsened, and he fell ill during production. Despite being feverish, he reported to work and collapsed while filming a special effects scene on scaffolding. York was rushed to the hospital where he was visited by director William Asher. The director asked if he wanted to quit the series, to which York replied, "If it's all right with you, Billy." Unfortunately, York's condition did not improve, and he was unable to return to the show. As a heavy smoker, he spent many years of his life smoking cigarettes and often smoked on set. In his later years, he suffered from emphysema, a chronic lung disease that made it difficult for him to breathe. By 1989, he required the use of an oxygen tank to help him breathe. Despite his health problems, York remained active in his community. While bedridden in his Rockford, Michigan home, he founded a private charity called Acting for Life. Through his charity, he worked to help the homeless and others in need. He used his telephone as a way to reach out to politicians, business people, and the public to solicit donations of supplies and money. Sadly, on February 20th, 1992, Dick York passed away at Blodgett Hospital in East Grand Rapids, Michigan, at the age of 63. His passing left behind a legacy of memorable performances and a tremendous impact on the entertainment industry. He was laid to rest in Rockford, Michigan, at the Plainfield Cemetery. Goodbye and rest in peace to a true legend, actor Dick York.